There's a story today reported on by Raw Story about the issue of money in politics and corruption of our system. And it's throwing some people for a loop because it appears as if the Senate is acting and they're going to try to reduce the legalized bribery and corruption that we see. But let me give you the details because everything is not as it seems. They say, quote, "The Senate may soon take up a constitutional amendment to give Congress and states the power to regulate political contributions and spending." At a Senate Rules Committee hearing Wednesday on the influence of so-called dark money groups, nonprofits that don't have to report their donors for election spending, Senator Chuck Schumer, a New York Democrat, said Democrats would soon bring the amendment up for a vote. The amendment, introduced last year by Senator Tom Udall, a New Mexico Democrat, would allow Congress to limit contributions and spending by campaigns as well as by super PACs and dark money groups. States would be allowed to pass their own regulations as well. So, should we be excited? I mean, it sounds like it's a good thing, right? Nope. Now, why do I say it's not a good thing? Because you have to be careful when you hear that Congress is acting on an issue like this, because Congress, of course, are the beneficiaries of money in politics. So the devil is always in the details, and I'll read it one more time. I'll read the important part. It says, quote, "The amendment gives Congress and states the power to regulate political contributions and spending, and allows states to pass their own regulations." So, do you realize the key thing there? Did you catch it? It would allow the power to go ahead and regulate money in politics. They didn't say they're actually going to go ahead and do it. They just want to allow the power to do it, and then maybe once we have the power, we'll do something really weak and vanilla that doesn't change much. So, for example, just like what we had before, McCain-Feingold, where there were some limits, even though there were still massive loopholes and ways around it to buy the politicians, which the billionaires and the corporations, of course, exploited, and they were able to do. But the devil's in the details. What they're saying is, oh, yeah, we'll do an amendment so that we can then allow the states to change things if they want. So boom, automatically like half the states are already out of the conversation because the red states, I mean, what do you think? Bought and paid for Republican politicians at the state level are going to be like, okay, yes, let's vote money out of our own pockets. Of course they're not going to do that. So allow the states to do it, and also will allow us to regulate it, but we're not saying we're going to, we're just saying we're going to allow us to do it. Now, I want you to compare that with what the actual movement is to get money out of politics and end corporate personhood. I'm talking, of course, about the Wolf PAC Amendment. Now, there are many different movements that are working on the same goal, which is ending the corruption of our politicians and the legalized bribery. I'm part of TYT Network, and I think that the model that Wolf PAC is using is probably the one that's has the highest percentage chance of success. But compare what I just told you Congress is working on with the text of the amendment that Wolfpack is trying to get. They say, quote, "Corporations are not people. They have none of the constitutional rights of human beings. Corporations are not allowed to give money to any politician, directly or indirectly. No politician can raise over $100 from any person or entity, and all elections must be publicly financed." So that's how you actually end the corruption of politics. That's how you actually stop the problem. By not by, saying vague things, paying lip service in an abstract way to try to get the right things done. No, the way you do it is you're very blunt, you're very straightforward, you're very to the point, you leave no wiggle room so that people could try to exploit it in one way or another, and you don't take any prisoners. So, not only is this movement from Congress a failure from the beginning because the substance of it isn't there, but I haven't even brought up the fact that you need 67 votes to get it through. What, you think Republicans are going to get it through? 67 out of 100. You're really going to get 67 out of 100 people to vote for that? I mean, that's insanity. It's just flat out not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. So in many ways, this is destined for failure. It's not nearly as positive a thing as it looks like, but that's the point, man. I think it's all kabuki theater. I actually have a fairly nefarious view of what they're doing. I think that they're trying to calm down the people who really are pushing for the systemic change. I think they're trying to calm down the wolf packs of the world and the move to amends of the world, which is another similar group working on basically the same thing. I think they're trying to say, no, we got this, guys. Back away. We'll take care of this. Don't worry. And then they'll do some fake shit and make people go, oh, okay, I guess we can relax a little bit because they're taking care of it. No, they're not taking care of it. I mean, just the fact that Chuck Schumer is bringing this to the floor. Chuck Schumer? Chuck Schumer, yes, he's a Democrat, but he's a New York Democrat. You know what that means? He raises a bunch of money from Wall Street. He raises a bunch of money from rich people and corporations. He is a corporatist Democrat. He's what the mainstream media would call a centrist, but he's not a centrist. He's a corporatist. He's a sellout. So when he says, oh yeah, I'm in favor of campaign finance reform, my ass you are. You know how you could have showed that? If you said, I refuse to take any money from special interests throughout my entire political career. But of course he didn't do that. He took it at every opportunity he had. So you have to be careful, man. All these stories, it's an attempt to get us to calm down and an attempt to get us to stop trying to make the systemic change. And we shouldn't do it. In fact, they should make us put our foot down on the gas pedal even more.